Right, this evening's job is to try and hone or polish the concrete. We left it pretty rough. I troweled it as best I could. I used sharp sand in the concrete and it's pretty coarse. It's not too bad on top, on the edges where it was just against the form. So I looked at hiring a diamond polisher. It was quite expensive, to be honest. So instead I have picked up a set of cheap and cheerful wet diamond grinding pads. Stupidly I only got 100mm. They're probably quite small. And then I picked up a variable speed polisher. Angle grind is just too quick, so I bought this one. We're going to be doing lots of restoration on that floor, the old Victorian hallway, so we're going to end up needing this a couple of occasions, so it was cheaper to buy. But this only came with a whopping great 200mm pad, so I've had to buy another backing pad, and unfortunately that backing pad doesn't come with a hook and loop velcro to take these diamond pads. So first job is to fabricate some sort of backing pad that will fit, or just about fit, these pads, and we'll be able to make a start. Okay, that works alright. Kind of use some of that heavy duty velcro, it's self-adhesive anyway, so that should take fine onto there. And hopefully, and these are pretty rigid anyway, so that should work. There we go, 50 green. Unfortunately these are 100mm, this is 125, so we're still not going to get right to the edge. But if we centralise it, I'm hoping to go the right way. I'm hoping that's not going to be a problem. We're not going to be able to get quite into the edge here, so I might have to do a little bit by hand. Weird thing is these don't feel abrasive at all, especially, and this one's a little bit rough, but when you get up to the other, you know, the 400 grit even, you can't feel anything, so I guess it's just really minute, the amount of abrasive that's in there. I haven't got a wet polisher, but I'm just going to keep it wet as we go. Good. There we go, it's all on there. It's all a little bit homemade, but it's all you can find at Screwfix at 8 o'clock at night. Definitely cutting through that layer. Seems to be doing a pretty good job just on the 50 actually. Okay, it's a bit of an update. Last night, I got a little bit of footage of it, but last night I started trying to polish the countertop. It's a bit noisy and a bit messy, so I packed it in. I'm going to try and finish it now. I got to like 50 grit over everything. And where I had little holes or any pinholes or pits, I've just kind of this morning put in like a cement SBR slurry, just to kind of fill those. Hopefully that'll work. And that's kind of left a haze over everything. So everything needs to be then gone over. Probably I'll jump to the 100 grit now, and try and get it all fairly smooth. And then I'm going to kind of work up the grits until it's kind of like a matte satin sort of honed finish. I don't think I'm going to try for polish, because if I do polish and there are imperfections, they're just going to jump out. So we'll get it that far, and then hopefully it'll dry out enough that we can get this stain on today. It's not a wet polisher or a wet grinder, but it's going to help if I do have it a little bit wet. We'll just be careful that it doesn't flick into the motor. I'm sure the safety Sallies will be commenting below right now, but to be quite honest, there's very, very little. As soon as you start using the polisher it kind of dries up. It's not like there's water flicking everywhere really. Saying that, it'll probably be all over the camera in a minute. My next step with the concrete top, I've actually taken it to I think 3000 grit, so it feels pretty smooth. I just want to try and get all the bits off it. I'll use a brush, they kind of get left behind, so I think using a bit of paper towel should catch the rest of it. Then I've got an acid stain, which is quite hard to come across in the UK, for countertops at least. This is designed for using on driveways. But hopefully that'll give us the colour. It's a bronze colour. We'll just have to see. I mean, you can use one coat, I guess, and it'd be lighter, but it looked quite dark. I don't know how quick this works either, so we'll soon see. Right, next thing it says to do is dampen it down. It's fairly damp still from polishing it, but I'll put a little bit more on there. Don't know what, I mean, that probably stops it from kind of getting blotches. Okay, it's pretty dark. I've put it into a little pot. I'm gonna use a brush where the concrete countertop meets the stonework, just so we've got a bit of a line there and it doesn't bleed in too much. And then I'll either use this or a sponge to kind of work it into the surface. And we've got to do 2 coats. It's looking pretty yellow. Doesn't help that I'm wearing sunglasses. So it doesn't say anything about kind of taking off the excess, but I've left it on for a few minutes and I just don't want it to get too blotchy yet. So I'm just going to take off that first coat with a little bit of sponge, and then maybe we can get a little bit more adventurous on the second coat and leave it, kind of let it puddle to create a bit of marbling. So the counters come out pretty smooth on top, a few imperfections, but that's fine. The edges though, where it was poured against that form, I couldn't trowel it, and I haven't actually ground that back as much. So it's a little bit more rough, but there's a little bit more detail, so it's kind of win-win. I think it's more about getting it food safe, you know, so the top is clean and smooth, and then that kind of adds a bit of texture. I'm not too worried. But if I was doing it again, I'd probably go for a full sort of smooth polish finish. After the small fire this morning, just feeling the top, it didn't get hot whatsoever. You know, the insulation and that big bit of perlite there, I'm just basically trying to cure the inside at the moment. I treated myself to one of these gadgets on Amazon. I think it was even less than £10, which is going to be quite handy for cooking, but also now I can just make sure that I'm not taking it too far. Like the walls at the moment are 60 degrees and top of the oven 70 and the fire break's 54, so it's literally just ticking over. Okay, it's only been on about 10-15 minutes. It already seems dry. There's nothing really coming off on a towel, so I'm going to go ahead and get the next coat on. You don't have to use 2 coats, it's all about how much colour you want on there, and this just looks a bit orangey, a little bit green in places, so I'm just going to try and take it one step darker. I'm not sure if I should, again this should be done in a test batch, whether I should let it pool a little bit and just leave it for 5 minutes, soak in different areas to give it like a marbled effect, or whether I want to try and get a consistent dark brown. My last few touch-ups, the second coat's been on probably only 10 minutes, and I'm going to let this one dry completely, but I just want to make sure there's no obvious real kind of pools or brush marks. Okay, it's tea time. I'm going to go in, leave this to dry naturally, and then hopefully by the time I come back out and, you know, half an hour, 45 minutes, this will have dried and I can get that sealant on there tonight. It's a breathable sealant anyway, so if there's any moisture in the concrete, it shouldn't be because it's been there for a week, but it can still carry on drying. Okay, so it's been down for a couple of hours now, so it's hopefully nice and dry. I'm just going to make sure that there's nothing left on there and nothing's coming off on this. Then I think we'll probably need to wash it off slightly before we seal it. And that's pretty much it, my attempt at a pizza oven. There's still lots to finish and tidy up, but here are the first few pizzas. We basically had about 2 or 3 days to get the hang of it before the big party. It was all about getting the fire right, getting it nice and hot. And then the day of the party is just knocking up, making all the dough ready for everyone to make their own pizzas. We kind of set up so there was a section with all the ingredients. We had a spare bit of granite on the left there for people to roll out their bases, and there was enough for everyone to have a go. So we got it down to about 90 seconds, minute and a half per pizza. And there we go. Thanks Dad again for all your help. Great summer project. So of course there'll be lots more videos on this pizza oven next year. When it warms up a bit, we can get back out there. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this series. If you've got any questions, of course, put them in the comments section below. There's plenty going on over the winter, so make sure you subscribe for more videos. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. And remember, if you can, do it yourself. And we'll see you next time.